At first glance, this painting looks calm, almost peaceful. A man sits in a bathtub, his body relaxed, his head gently tilted to the side, a pen still in his hand. But this calm is a lie, because the man in the painting is already dead. And what makes this image truly unsettling is not just that it shows a murder, but that the artist painted it as if he already knew exactly how death would look. This is The Death of Marat by Jacques-Louis David, and it feels disturbingly premeditated. At first, we don't even see the wound. Marat's body looks intact. There is no struggle, no chaos, no blood-soaked drama. Instead, his skin is smooth, his expression calm, almost serene. This doesn't look like a violent political assassination. It looks like a martyr resting after sacrifice. Look closely at his face. The eyes are closed, but not in pain. The mouth is relaxed. There is no fear here. David paints death not as an interruption, but as a quiet conclusion. And this choice was not accidental. Now look at his right hand. It still holds a letter. The letter from Charlotte Corday, the woman who murdered him. The ink is fresh, the paper uncrumpled. It's as if Marat died in the act of helping. The letter speaks of mercy, of desperation, of a request for aid. David wants us to see Marat not as a radical revolutionary, but as a compassionate figure betrayed by trust. And then there is the other hand. It hangs lifeless, empty. This is where the body gives itself away. Life has left the room. Only now do we notice the wound. Small, precise, almost discreet. A single stab to the chest. No gore, no spectacle. David removes everything unnecessary until only meaning remains. Jean-Paul Marat was not a peaceful man. He was one of the most radical voices of the French Revolution, a journalist, a politician, a man whose words sent thousands to their deaths. He suffered from a severe skin disease, forcing him to work from his bath. That part is real. But what David does next is something else entirely. Look at the wooden box beside the tub. It's simple, rough, unadorned. On it, David places an inscription, like a gravestone. To Marat, David. This is not just a signature, it's a dedication. The background is empty, no room, no walls, no witnesses. Marat floats in darkness, as if he has already left the physical world. This space feels timeless, icon-like. Many historians notice something familiar here. The pose, the tilted head, the falling arm. David borrows directly from Christian imagery, especially the Pietà. Marat becomes Christ-like, a political martyr painted with religious language. But here's where the story turns. Jacques-Louis David was not just an artist. He was a close friend of Marat, a revolutionary himself, a man deeply involved in the same violent politics. David painted this immediately after the murder, yet the painting feels rehearsed, as if he had already imagined this image long before Marat died. Some scholars believe this painting doesn't just depict death, it designs it. David chooses how we remember Marat, how history will see him, how violence becomes virtue. The real Marat was controversial. The painted Marat is pure. So did David predict Marat's death? Not literally, but emotionally, yes. He understood that revolutionary violence demands martyrs, that history needs clean images to justify blood. And when death came, David already knew exactly how to frame it. That's why this painting feels prophetic. Not because it foresaw the murder, but because it reveals how easily death can be transformed into meaning, into beauty, into myth. So here is the real question. When you look at the death of Marat, do you see a victim, a hero, or a carefully constructed image, designed to survive longer than the truth? Tell me in the comments.